Canada's healthcare. Is it really free? As we take an in-depth look at Canada's healthcare system, there are many things that show us that this is merely a myth. Things like the cost of prescription drugs, the cost of additional physical or medical needs, such as dental and optometry. To see who believed this myth or not, we interviewed some students and staff from the University of Regina. Here are the results.
How much do you think the average Canadian family spent for healthcare through taxes last year?
I will say 5.
Okay. The actual amount was $11,735.
Holy shit! That's for one year for me.
Yeah.
Wow, that's too much.
What do you think of Canada's free healthcare?
I love it. Well, it's not really like free, technically, because it's like people, like it's free if you have to go to the hospital for like something, like if you get hurt, but then like if you go get drugs, yeah, you still pay. Pharmacy, you still have to pay if you don't have insurance.
Very true. How much do you think the average Canadian family spends on taxes for healthcare?
No idea.
In 2015, the average amount was $11,735.
Holy, that's a lot.
What do you think of Canada's free healthcare?
I think it's pretty decent in comparison to like, I don't know, the US, but we definitely have a long way to go in terms of socialized medicine. If we look at like Scandinavian countries, for example, they do a lot better on certain fronts. I mean, they're not perfect, but I think we still have a way to go to improve.
Thank you. How much do you think the average Canadian family spends in taxes on free healthcare?
I have absolutely no clue. I can't even estimate.
It's $11,735.
Okay, sure.
That doesn't surprise you, or anything?
No, it's not even that much, to be completely honest. It's like whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
What do you think of Canada's free healthcare?
I think it's awesome.
What is free about it?
Well, it's very fitting that you asked because I had to go to the doctor today. And I was thinking how much it would have been such a pain if I had to just like go online and try to figure out what was wrong with me as opposed to just going to the doctor and getting an expertise opinion. So what is free about it? It's just amazing that we can go in and actually try to figure out and get someone who actually knows what they're talking about to figure out what's wrong with you.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you think is free about our healthcare?
Our medicine, doctors, therapy, all that type of stuff. Basically, coming back from injury.
Okay, thank you. I think the average Canadian family spent on healthcare in 2015.
I'd say about an average is. So I'd say about like $100 to $1,000.
It was the amount that we spent on healthcare through taxes.
Oh, through taxes. So it would like just okay. So maybe 5K, 6K.
$11,735.
Yeah, it was half off.
It's not bad. How much do you think the average Canadian family spends on healthcare through taxes a year?
That is a very good question. I'm thinking it's probably a decent amount, but I wouldn't even be able to give an educated guess on how much.
In 2015, the average was $11,735.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How much do you think the average Canadian family spent on healthcare last year?
I don't know.
Just guess. It was $11,735.
Holy, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Now you might be wondering, why is it considered a myth? Well, I'll let this guy explain.
How is Canadians' free healthcare a myth?
Because it's not actually free, it comes from our tax dollars.
That was perfect.
Just as simple as that. Our healthcare system is not free because we pay our taxes into it. A study was done on the expenditure of healthcare. In 2015 alone, we spent $219 billion on healthcare alone. That is a 1.6% growth from the previous year, and that equals out to roughly $6,105 per person. Now this is also 10.9% of our GDP. Now, even though our healthcare system is funded by our taxpayer dollars, there are still aspects of health that are not funded entirely by the government.
Oh, ma'am, you're so sick. I think you need to take these for 7 days. Your total is going to be $137.
That's right. The very pills, the prescription pills that we can depend on, may not always be funded by the government or even subsidized. And this is a problem because these pills can almost be as important as a Band-Aid or as stitches. A survey was done in a group of people. This group was asked whether they thought the cost of prescription drugs was reasonable or unreasonable. 73% of the people in the group said it was unreasonable. Among the 73% that were asked what they thought was the cause of the high cost of prescription, and the majority of them thought that it was because the pharmaceutical companies just set the drug prices too high. In 2002, a household spending survey was done, and this survey revealed that in terms of out-of-the-pocket healthcare expenditures for prescription drugs, Saskatchewan had the highest, although it varied from province to province. Having said that, there's another sector of health that receives very little to no subsidization. This sector includes chiropractors, dentists, optometry, and others in that very same like.
Okay, ma'am, your total for your filling today is $736.
All of these facts must leave you to wonder, how are we doing as a nation compared to other nations?
What do you think of Canada's free healthcare?
I think it's pretty decent in comparison to, like, I don't know, the US. But we definitely have a long way to go in terms of socialized medicine. If we look at, like, Scandinavian countries, for example, they do a lot better on certain fronts. I mean, they're not perfect, but I think we still have a way to go to improve.
Thank you.
Her response was exactly spot on. Among wealthy nations, we're ranked directly above the United States, which is not really saying anything positive because the United States is ranked last among the 11 wealthy nations considered in this chart here. Now you might be wondering, what about the health benefits provided to the employees by the employer? The fact is, not all employers provide health benefits and health coverage for their employees. The Conference Board of Canada conducted a survey that shows and reveals that it would require an employer $8,330 per full-time employee per year to pay for the employee's health benefits. Now this would make it very difficult and very costly for small companies and small businesses like family-owned shops to pay for their employees' health care. And this is the reason why some companies don't. Although our healthcare system's not free, and it might need some improvement, it's still one of the best in the world. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces.